Good evening, folks. The Mount Anthony Union School District Number 14 warning of annual meeting, March 3rd and March 4th, 2014. The legal voters of the Mount Anthony Union School District Number 14, consisting of Bennington School District Incorporated, North Bennington Graded School District Incorporated, Shaftsbury Town School District, Pownell Town School District, and Woodford Town School District are hereby warned to meet at the Firehouse on River Street in Bennington, Vermont on Monday, March 3rd, 2014 at 6:15 o'clock in the evening to transact the following business from the floor. Article 1, to accept the reports of the district's officers for the preceding year as reported in the annual report. Number 2, to establish the annual salary of the district officers as follows. Moderator, $10. District clerk, $1,000. School director, $1,200 each. And treasurer, $18,905. Article 3, to authorize the school board to borrow money in anticipation of tax revenues to meet current operating expenses of the district. Article 4, to hold a public informational hearing on articles to be voted upon by Australian ballot on March 4, that's tomorrow, 2014. And Article 5, to transact any other business found proper when met. Article 1, to accept the reports of the district's officers for the preceding year as reported in the annual report.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Any comments? Jeff?
Just a short one. How many do you need for quorum?
6.
Okay, while you're there, I don't know this guy yet, but yeah.
Thank you.
We have 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Joe,
any other
Just to
discussion?
clarify, this is not a school board meeting, though. It's a annual school meeting, so the board won't be taking the action, the voters will, so there isn't a quorum that needs to be, okay? Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion on the Article 1? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I guess the ayes have it. Thank you. Article 2, to establish the annual salaries of the district officers as follows. Moderator, $10. District clerk, $1,000. School directors, $1,200 each. And treasurer, $18,905. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Joe, there's,
Whoop. Sorry.
Maybe I'm confused, but you're reading off numbers that are different from the book I'm looking
has he got BSD or not? Anthony?
at. Page 53.
Yeah, this is page 53. You have the school,
31, okay. All right, thank you.
okay? So, all in favor? I guess maybe we already did vote. I don't know.
No.
Any opposed? I guess the ayes have it. Article 3, to authorize the school board to borrow money in anticipation of tax revenues to meet current operating expenses of the district. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just curiosity again, what's the interest rate we're borrowing at?
I guess,
The treasurer.
She's here.
He's out there.
It'll be determined based on the market at the time of borrowing. At this point, we won't need to borrow probably till July or August, and I don't know what the market's going to be at that point.
Any other discussion, comments, questions?
What is the time termination on current operating expenses? What's current? Up until when?
Would be for the,
What's the time operate?
It'd be the fiscal year from July 1 to June 30th of next year.
any other questions? If not, a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. Okay, Article 4, to hold a public informational hearing on articles to be voted on by Australian ballot on March 4, 2014. So that's the election tomorrow. Any questions on the election,
The budget.
budget, so forth? Jeff?
I'm not sure if I want to make it a question as to state you people.
Jeff, would you come up to the microphone,
mic,
please?
please, yeah.
It's being told.
Thank you.
I'm going to not put this in the form of a question. It's more in the form of whether or not you folks are aware of what is going on in Bennington. We're losing jobs. There are lots of homeless. The income value in this town is almost zero. If you like working 3 jobs like McDonald's, the only people that are paying is the state, the education department, and the hospital. Everybody else is dying. People are losing their homes. People are leaving the area. I just don't see how you can have any increase at all. You should be working for a negative. And I don't care what the state says, Rick. This is coming from people I know that are having a hard time. Somebody I talked to yesterday lost his job. He had to use his 401k to stay alive and was penalized $26,000. He has no idea what he's going to do. So you people need to look around a little bit. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further comments?
I guess mine's kind of like two-part, really. We read a lot in the paper about what the actual percentage of an increase is.
You want to state your name?
Yeah, state your name.
Dennis Whiteford. And, I mean, I've seen everything from 3% to 13%. If you take all the districts in conjunction together, how much are we actually getting an increase for? Because I know it's more than the 1% to 3% that we're talking about, just for the Bennington that was put in the paper, I think by Shumry Olive.
You want to?
Well, there are 2 things that were in the paper. One was the actual MAU, the high school, the middle school's budget. In that budget, it was up around 3%, and if you took in the extra revenue, which we have, the actual increase in the amount of taxes that had to be raised in order to meet the commitment, the financial commitment that the budget proposes, is less than 1%. Actually, it's less than 0.5%.
Right, I
But-
understand that. I'm talking about in
Right,
all
right,
totality,
and
what are we
and
talking
that's
about?
that is the combination, really, for Bennington of the BSD and the MAU. And really, Rick can speak to that figure better than I can.
Well, I think the figure you're referring to is right behind you. Can I be taken
Yeah.
back? And it is a complicated structure, but based on the recommendation from the tax commissioner right now, the state base rate is going up 7 cents. The CLA, which is common level of appraisal, which is based on our our actual values in the town of Bennington compared to what our assessed values are, there's a state calculation which is driving, as a result of that inequity in those two numbers, is driving 5 cents of that tax increase. BSD is a little over 1 cent of the tax increase, and MAU and CDC are less than 2/10 of 1 cent of the tax increase. I think that's the question you were asking.
Per 100?
Per 100.
Okay.
Per 100. So the total education tax increase is about 13.5 cents, of which the state is driving over 12 cents of that increase. Is that your question?
Yes, it was. Yeah, and I appreciate that. The only other follow-up I have on that, if I could, is that we have, as a gentleman before me indicated, we have a declining tax base. We have businesses that are going out. We have people moving out. We have a lot of different things that are happening in the community, and yet we know that we have obligations that we have to pay for. The town is asking for certain things. The school district keeps asking for things. My biggest concern on the school budget is what you have coming forward. Not so much this year, but what you have coming forward. And you keep asking for more and more and more, and you have a limited resource that's even dwindling. And what can we do about that? Because what I'm seeing is a lot of dissatisfaction from the populace over the fact that teachers continue to get huge increases, and they have a contract coming up. They get full retirement, medical, everything across the board that no other citizen gets. And you're going to have a declining value in homes because businesses are leaving. Where are you going to make that up? Some decisions have to be made, not necessarily this year, but you have teacher contracts coming up, and I want to know if you're going to hold the line. Because teachers come back and they're always saying, educators are always saying, don't you want a quality education? Of course we do, but we're not seeing it. We have not met any standards. And we keep hearing, oh, but we're making progress. No, you're not. In 10 years' time, what progress have you made? That's my stand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one more question, I think to Rick. You've got.
Yeah, do you
Do you
want
want to come up?
microphone, please?
Make it hard on old guys. We got 4.47% already is right increase in the BSD budget. Is that your 1 cent?
That's part of the 1 cent, yes.
What do you mean by part of? It either is or it isn't.
Well, what makes up that 1 cent is a complicated calculation that includes that number, their local revenue and reimbursement they get for special ed, the equalized pupils they get will generate the tax rate.
Now, this is the bottom line. This is a 4.47% increase.
Correct.
And what's that represent in dollars then?
1.13 cents on the tax rate
Per thousand,
per 100.
per hundred. Okay. Make it difficult.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
Joe, just talk to the point that Jeff made and Dennis. I think a lot of people agree with what you're saying, but one of the things the school boards are up against is some of the mandates that are coming from up here. And I see the superintendent shaking her head yes. And those are some of the people that you may want to question. You know, when they mandate early child education, it's not an option the school has, it's a mandate. And the way special ed is treated today, it's not an option, it's a mandate. And so some of the times the school board's hands are tied with legislation that's passed in Montpelier, whether it's good or bad, that's a judgment call. But their hands are tied with fulfilling state statutes that are passed there. So, you know, you have to look at the whole picture of if the town of Bennington mandated a cost on you, you know, your expense is gonna go up. And that's one of the things that you might wanna try to talk to your legislators, and I know the school boards here have tried to been in contact with their legislators. They have meetings constantly, but it's not maybe all the local board's fault of what's happening.
Thank you, Tim. Any other? Ted?
I want to reply again. Don't throw me out just yet. Timmy, I disagree.
Okay?
The state, for as far as I know, at least the last 5 years, it said, get your house in order. Get those school budgets organized. And realize that taxes are going up if you don't do something. And you guys keep blaming it all on the state, but I don't see it that way.
Yeah. I'm not on the school board, and I'm not blaming it all on the state, but they are a component.
Yes, they are,
Yeah.
I agree.
When the mandates come down, they have no choice but to follow them. It's not the total answer, but it is part of the answer.
I'd just like to state one fact is that the state has a difficult time. The revenues that come into the state are not what they used to be. In other words, what's happened is we've got a declining population.
We can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
I'll get that.
Well, I think that we have to realize that the state, because we see these figures and they certainly become quite obvious, that most of the increase in the tax rate is due to situations that don't exist or aren't dealt with by the board. As Tim has said, that we've got mandates and we've got these other things. The other factor is that the amount of revenue that comes into the state that then comes back to the schools as state aid has decreased because we're not getting the income within the state that we used to be able to count on. And therefore, that difference, in order to balance the budget, unfortunately, is falling on the individual property tax. So the situation is not easy to understand. It is complex. And there are many, many factors that enter into it. But I think that we all share the concern that's been expressed here and are very cognizant of the fact that people are not in a situation where they can continually absorb this type of increase. And I can tell you, at least as far as the school boards are concerned, that they're doing everything they possibly can to meet the standards that have been set and to take into consideration the economic impact of what we're doing.
Any further comments? If not, okay, that's for tomorrow. Article 5, to transact any other business found proper when met. Okay, Ken?
As most of you may know, Sean Mariola has decided not to run again for school board here in Bennington through the Mount Anthony Board. And I serve on the Vermont School Board Association in Montpelier. And I asked the gentleman up there, the executive director, Steve Dale, if he'd put something together for Sean Marie as a thank you from the state and from the local people. And I'd just like to take a couple minutes here to read the citation that has come down. It says here, encloses a certificate marking 20 years of school board service in Bennington County. I understand that you have carefully gone over your years with Carrie, which is our secretary. If for some reason we have the numbers incorrect, contact me. This town day is a watershed day in the history of Bennington education governance. For the first time in decades, Sean Mariola will not be on the ballot. You have been a rock for many, many years. You have been through a number of major leadership transitions and turmoils of all sizes. Through it all, you have kept an eye on the primary objective, exceptional education for students at a reasonable price for taxpayers. Since early on in my tenure, I have come to know you and your contributions. You never hold back on expressing an opinion. You assure a smooth flow of information in your community and to those of us in the Montpelier bubble. I have enjoyed working with you and your boards. It's always been reassuring to have you there, totally committed to the task. Your boards will miss you. I am very glad you will be continuing to serve on the State Board of Education. It has been great to have local board perspectives on the State Board. I look forward to continuously work with you in your capacity and finding ways to further strengthen the connection between local boards and the state. Congratulations on this change in your life and for many years of service to your community and the children of Bennington. Signed, Steve R. Dale, Executive Director.
Thank you,
She's nice.
Ken.
We'll get it to her.
Any other business? Tomorrow, find it here, the legal voters of the Mount Anthony Union School District 14 are hereby warned further to meet on Tuesday, March 4th, 2014, when the polls will be open to transact business by Australian ballot as follows. Thank you, folks.
Move we adjourn.
Will we adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.